May 16th, we're obviously in a long at the moment. Significant portion of the time above the close, but a poorly formed, as you can see, very poorly formed market profile, which indicates the possibility of a short, and with a significant amount of the profile from yesterday in need of repair. We will short this rally. Where? That's another story. I think we're going to need to do a little Fibonacci here to figure out where we're going to short this, because we're once again hitting all-time highs. You've got this area in here that was also in need of repair, and that to some degree is taking place here. All right, so we're going to do a little calculation before the open here and find out where we may intend to short this. All right, just some quick calculations would indicate a around 24.04.5 to 25. If it pushes much beyond 25.06, I think we'll be heading to the area around 24.10. If we use this ABC approach, this is what we get. If we use this as A, that's what we get. Okay. And here we go. All the way up to 24.5 right off the bat. And the market didn't like that. We see a little bit of a floor here developing. I think we're ready to go back up. Right in here, you saw it overnight. You saw that. Same as here on SPY. Nope, going down. Oh boy. Yeah, we're at no significant area of support in here at all. So 2401 and a quarter was a low volume node on the ES, but I mean the SPY, there's nothing there at all. As you can see, there's nothing there. Now, we don't get anywhere until we come down here. But it does look like we're coming down at least to the upper value area. and that way that may produce more of a floor. Or all the way here, possibly. It shorted right out of the gate. A little too fast for me. Okay, we've got a good chance here that this is going to come back up now. See if it'll bounce. All right, we went down, right down. Notice this. Came right down to this high volume node here on SPY. And we're right at this low volume node here. This makes sense for support. If not here, down here. So I think we're going to go long in here for a minute. All right, we're going to go long. Come on. That looks good. Just nothing up here. Okay, all right. I don't see this lasting. Okay. We're out. I don't like it. Well, I'm taking some off the table. I'll trail this. Doesn't give me much to trail. Nope, 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 nope. We're done. We're out. We might get a little kick from this, come to think of it. Yeah, that would be a normal place to kick it through. Let's try this again. Let's try this again. Well, that's not giving us much. No, that was that. All right, we're at 205, 275, 3, it is high volume. And I think we'll short this again. Okay. What is that? That doesn't make any sense. This is playing like it wants to go all the way up here. And may not be ready yet. Not ready yet. Oh, we're premature, I think. Premature. I'm going to ease out of this thing if I can. Not completely, but all right, I'm a little more comfortable with that. Too many contracts. Nope. No, this is going back up. Okay, I'm going to get out. I don't like it. This is headed up one more time, I'm pretty sure. I will bail. I am out. I don't like it. This is a little lower, this is true. But this is a typical type of cycle. Boom, 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 up one more time. It's headed to the upper value area. It needs to test that. And then maybe she'll turn. So we're just flat. That's where SPY was. Well, that's interesting. I should have taken note of that. It looks like this is ready to try again. Yeah, looks like it's ready to try again. 37, didn't quite make it. Okay, we're long. We're long. Now I want to make note of the fact that this on SPY is the overnight activity. And this is, of course, since the open. And the low, oh, that's very interesting. Yeah. Here was our low, not surprising. And of course, now as this profile is forming from the overnight session, compared to, and of course we weren't up here. Yes, we were. Just prior to the open, we were up there. Let me just see this. Yeah. Okay. So we're building our profile here, but this is good to keep this open because we've got this. We've got that information to work with. Very interesting. And you can obviously see right here, 34. Is low. Spending a fair amount of time right in here. I think this is going to push lower. Yeah. This is going to push lower. We're going down. Yeah. Now I'm saying that just because as I look at the amount of time that we've spent here versus where we have been here to finish or to, I don't want to say complete the profile, but to add to the profile, we need to go down. Not up. So I mean, if this was this, if this is the POC, then the low value area is below. We're short. Get ready for this to drop. Two would be better. But I can't be sure about that. This is definitely the POC here. So we went ahead and shorted it. Here we go. Here we go. Oh, yes, thank you. Yep, yep. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Thank you. All right, down to 97.75, and we are out. Yeah, yeah. You could see it coming. You could see it coming. Wow, that was nice. That was nice. Now, if I can only explain why we felt so strongly about that. All right, so, all right, let's go over this again, because this was pretty cool. This was good. All right, I was looking at the profile, all right, and I'm just looking at SPY here. And, you know, we started off, let's go back to the beginning. We started off looking at this Fibonacci extension and saying to ourselves, you know, as high as we are and where we are here, that looks like, you know, a good place to short. Now, I just wish it would have climbed there, but no, it practically opened there. And so it was too fast for me. I just didn't have a chance to really get into that. And so I'm looking for another place to short this. So that's what we started to work with. And then as I compared the overnight on SPY, you know, I see this big volume node here. And I said, wow, now that could be a floor. So we went long temporarily off of that low, and that produced a little bit. But then as we moved up, I got to get my bearings here. Let me cut this centering off. Actually, I can't. Well, anyway, let's bring it up. Okay, so that was low volume at that moment, and that was a floor. Wow, was that obvious? So now it's trying to move up, and it makes it a little way, but then it starts to really spend some time right in here, as you can see. And I'm saying, I'm looking at this profile and seeing that we're spending time here and creating, at least in my mind, some degree of symmetry on this, and saying, if this is the POC, then it only stands to reason that we are moving down, because we got nothing here. Because this would have been the low. Okay, we're out. I felt comfortable just getting out at 97.75. We're gonna go lower. I just said enough is enough. But anyway, so yeah, this is the low. And if that's the POC, we're going lower. We gotta go lower. And then when you look at this, and you saw, all right, we've got the overnight POC, at least at that time, was over here. So on the basis of that, okay, we're gonna even go lower, which of course is exactly what we have done. But now, as we've in fact gone lower, we got an awful lot of area of repair up in here. So I think we'll go just a little bit lower. 96.25 was the overnight. Let's go back here. And I think it will probably start to head back up. Yeah, we're creating an awful lot of area for repair in here. Now, of course, we've got all this down here as well, but I think this is probably going to repair before we go much lower. But we were certainly correct in anticipating the short. That was nice. That was a good call. Nicely done. So I think we will probably head back up now. Let's just take a look at the premium. Yeah. But you got to watch that, because it's going to take a little longer. No, I don't like the formation here. This is going to take us maybe a good 15 minutes or so before that profile line drops below this low. Because what has to happen is we need to likely move up, let this continue to drop, and then use that as a floor before we start to advance again to do some repairing here. So I think it's a little early to be thinking about going long, although that does look like a floor. And we took a small position, nevertheless, but I'm not going to hold that. I'm not going to hold that. I'm going to take now I would expect if it just drops to 25, it'll turn. It'll use that as a floor and go up a little higher. But then this is still going to come down. Yeah, that needs to be lower. Okay, pulled a point off of that. Coming right back down. Alrighty. Okay, let's see about this. Yeah, we got an awful lot of area repairing here. But it's this that I'm worried about. come back in a few minutes. Took another dive into this area of low volume from the overnight. And here we go again. Created this just to see, using a 24-hour clock. And this isn't making a whole lot of sense to me, because we weren't that low. Unless somehow or another we're looking at that. And this is on a 1-minute chart. And I'm saying to myself, that's really strange. Okay. And I know what I'm going to do. Let's go back here. Well, what do you know? That's exactly what that is. So somewhat good to have this very good. Nice to have this little piece of data. I do like it. Most helpful. So how could we have anticipated this drop into right here? Okay, that's kind of why there. All right. Now we had this area of low volume. We talked about that. And that's next to nothing. So Well, right down here, that would have been certainly pretty low volume. But of course, it's even lower below that. So I don't know that we could have really seen anything there since we weren't looking at the time. So real low volume here. We may not get past that. But we'll probably get to it, and that's at 96. Let's put all this together. I'm just going to take this out for the moment. Nope. Doesn't want to go there yet. Well, actually it did. It made it up there once. All right, we'll come back. it's going up, obviously. And now we have a little bit more of a target too. But you see how this has, we talked about this has got to come down. And it's still too high. This is still too high. So this may go up a bit more, but then we'll come back down. Because look at this. Let's see if we can. This projected area is at 75. The low, the 90, is a full point. Okay, that doesn't work. That doesn't happen. So this will come down, and if it's going to sustain a rally, if we're going to change the trend here, or at least really start to get some buying going on, this has got to drop at least a half a point, if not all the way, which means that the short is not over. Okay, so this is sort of heading toward 97, this toward 94. See if we don't get a little bit of a bounce here. No. Oh, yes we did. Yes we did. All right, so 97 was the target, and this area of low volume right in here, that might just, that might be as far as she goes. Crunch away up my yogurt. Yeah. Here we go. Here we go. Let's try it. Not liking that. Okay, I see right there. There we go. Just hit it. And a little higher. You could see it so clearly here. Oh, I love it. That is so helpful. Now, not to be overlooked is right up here at 01. See that? Not to be overlooked. And here at 09, very, very low volume. So it looks like we are about to take, we're going to climb higher. It would appear as if we've got to climb higher. We got to correct that. That has got to be corrected. All right. I want that thing to. All right, we can kind of see this come down a bit, and then maybe take off again. Right up here. Again, so obvious. Okay, now I wouldn't expect it to stop here. Yeah, going up to 10. Look at where we were here. That's higher volume, and then we drop off. So yeah. All right, now clean up this. And heading to this low volume. So that's a good point and a half. So of course from 98.75 to 99.75, that's a point. And so if we are roughly here, we've got to go up to here. Here and roughly here. And that would, you could kind of expect it to stop there. Maybe come down. Now let's look at the profile. Here. I'm a little surprised at this. I'm a little bit surprised. I figured this would have dropped lower. In other words, we would have come down again. And we probably will, but we've got all this repair work to do up here. But this just seems really high. A full point above the low. Alrighty, we'll just, I'm looking at 97. I want to see where will we be here when we hit 99.75. And it seems to me that we're going to be right up in here at around 240.20. Whew. Couple of points in here. Okay, and that makes sense. We are going up. We got to correct that. Now that's going to take us to about 2401. Yeah, we're going to correct all of that in here. Yeah. To hit that, we're going to be up in here for sure. But we're not going to be done then. We've still got to go higher. Now we may go up rather quickly, but who knows? But that's where we're headed. I'm pretty confident of that. So that puts us here. We'll correct all of this. Okay. That's the plan. All of this will get corrected. Very good. All right. So we're going to suspend this, or just put the video on hold until we get up here. But what we, again, just to review, we've got to come up this high to 99.75. That'll put us right in here, correcting a little bit of this. But then we've got more to do above that, which takes us right into about 2401. Okay, we'll come back. Okay, we haven't quite made it up. We came down and tested this low. Take a look at this on the volume matrix. It came right down to 39.88. Okay, right down there. That's exactly where it went. Now, we're right here at the TPO currently. Pardon, the POC. The POC. So, with that thought in mind, boom, we should be pushing up once again, and we've got this 99.75 target. We've got work to do in here, and it's been really slow going. If you compare where we were half an hour, 45 minutes ago. This didn't look anything like this. All right. And now we've got to go and repair in here. So indeed, that's going to push us, as we've been saying, to get us to here, we got to get up to here. 420. 4020, I should say. And then from there, all right, we're going to push higher. So that area right around here at 2401 is real. That's real likely, because among other things, although the TPO has now changed a bit, pardon me, the POC. Man, having a hard time today. Right here at 2401.50, that was, okay. The POC, as you can tell from this chart. Okay, we were up here, we're now down here. So that's clear. So anyway, this should turn, we should be coming back up. And now, finally, aha, okay, very good, very good. Now, the low value area is now appearing right at the low. So while I think we are going to manage to get up here before we go down, anything can happen. But very interesting, all of these profiles shifted almost at the same time. Well, certainly I shouldn't say all of them did. That's wrong. But SPY as well as the ES shifted at the same time. Because this is a very accurate profile. This, not bad, but not so much. Not as accurate. All right, we'll come back a little bit later and finish up this video. Here we go. And there you got it, right there. Right where we expected it to be. Well, that's only mathematical. But now we could be coming back down and futz around in here before we push up. Tough to say what it will do next. But what it did is what we expected. And that's good to know. Very good. But what's also really interesting, I hadn't noticed this. Oh, look at this. Look at it, 24. Overnight. Oh my goodness, does it have to go there? Indeed, 24. Look at that. Look at that. Okay. There is your POC. Right there. Okay. So that only puts us, maybe right in here at 24 to 24 and a quarter. So what does that mean? Well, that just means it's, you know, it's liable to come down if it can manage to push up there right away. It's liable to come down fairly quickly, but it's obviously going to go up higher, and you know, right into here, right in here at 33. You could expect that thing to say, yeah, maybe not, maybe not. Or here at 40, right in there. So we're just about there right now. Let's just see what happens. No, 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 no. Let's not do that. Look at that. Look at that. Comes right back down. Ooh, pushed a little bit higher. Okay. Okay. There you go. A little repair work in there. Yeah. That was interesting. I did not see that until we got up high enough because they just hadn't moved the matrix to notice that. But that really was more of a target. You know, we were looking at 99.75, and for good reason. It was low volume, but just above that. So that gives us every reason to think not only are you going to hit that, you're going to go through it. And to what extent, you know, maybe a tick or two above it, but a little bit of repair in here, maybe push higher than, yeah, I look at 33 as maybe that's maybe about as far as she's going to want to go before it takes a more significant drop. But that was certainly a target, and should have used this as a more obvious target than just the low volume at 99.75. Cool. Okay. Well, we will come back and just review, and then we'll end that video. So you see 32 here, and back to 24.01. As we have been talking, we went as high as 29. So that puts us right here. So it's pretty clear we should be able to make it. We should push through this low volume. That's at 27 to see how close we are to that other high volume node, which let's see this. I made a mistake here. No. Okay, we'll give this just a couple more minutes. Okay, we're right there at 2450. Sorry, 2450. Right here. Expect we will push that higher. Mm-hmm. Now, will we get a spike? That's the big question. Well, that area that we talked about is in need of repair, and we were doing just that. Here we go. Here we go. Now 30 is low volume. Oh, interesting. How interesting it is. There we go. Pushed it right over. Let's see if we make it to 33. There it is. Just 33. Okay. Interesting. Very interesting. So going back to our chart here, as we just managed to make it to 2401, at that moment we hit 33, right where we thought it might go. Very nice. And will this continue on up? It might, but as a target, that made good sense. Wow. Now, what do you think happened to the premium? Think we were divergent? There you have it. So on the second bar, we had only made it up to 156, so it was a little higher, just a little bit higher than it was here. And down we come. Okay, very cool. Nicely done. So we are really looking at the use of SPY now that we've got that data feed, and should have had it a long time ago, but oh well. In any case, it's worth it. And really it's not expensive. But that data feed is really useful, because the INX, the whole premise here for using this is that the INX is not a tradable symbol. All right, it's just an index, and although we can generate a volume profile from it, we're not real confident of its accuracy. Okay, but SPY, yeah, we've got that. And not only that, but it trades overnight. Now, maybe not a lot, but it does trade overnight. It will create a profile. Here it is. Right? There's your profile from last night. Oops. Come on, man. Okay, so this makes it, this made it right up to the TPO. Okay, this climb made it right up to the TPO. Very interesting. Very interesting, to be sure. Okay, so there was another reason for that target. And this is making for a nice little short in here. But anyway, here's your profile. That's really, really helpful. Very much so. Now I've got all three indicators on here. Now I don't have this set up. No, yes I do. I'm not that. I guess I do. So, very useful data feed. No question about it. All right, that completes our video. I'm RSKsys Intl, Spoon Man Forward.